And they're off in the Pennsylvania Derby. By Miss Iridia trying to stay unbeaten on the outside. They're headed in for the lead as they come to the wire.
Let's Go Racing, brought to you by the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association.
A very pleasant good morning, racing fans, and welcome here to Parks Racing for Let's Go Racing. One of our favorite shows of the year to do as we recap the Breeders' Cup. We'll, of course, take a look at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, where John Service saddled Jaywalk. We'll take a look at the Classic, and 14 runners heading a very competitive field for the first time. Maybe we've not a huge favorite like we've had recently, so we'll look at the Classic, and we'll also take a look at the sensational filly, Enable, as she came over for the turf. We'll see how she made out in that. Hi, everybody. Keith Jones down on the beautiful first floor here at Parks Racing. My Breeders' Cup friend Dick Girardi, who is back from Churchill Downs. Dick, they had some weather issues in midweek, but by the time they got to the weekend, it had cleared up.
Yeah, it was a little cold on Friday. It was actually glorious on Saturday. The sun was out. It was mid-50s. But yeah, I got there Tuesday, Keith. It started raining about noon on Wednesday and rained for 24 straight hours.
Ooh.
But to the Churchill Downs track crew's credit, they had the main track fast by post time on Friday, which is meant to me they obviously were working all night under the lights to make that happen. But yeah, it was, I mean, great racing as it always is. 14 races, all these great horses, not just from our country, but from around the world. And we saw some of the world's best over the weekend.
Well, we'll get to look at those performances. And the first one we're going to take a look at is coming from Friday. We're going to take a look at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. They'll go a distance of 1 mile and 1/16. It's around 2 turns, a $2 million purse. Dick, the favorite from the West Coast, number 10, Bella Fina. 9 to 5 is the price. Simon Callahan trains her. She has won 3 consecutive races. 2 of those were grade 1s, and she has won by daylight every time.
Yeah, it was interesting, Keith. Obviously, I went down there looking for Jaywalk, John Service's horse, so we're going to talk about in a second as the leader of the first one to run out of the Parks contingent. But I asked all my Southern California friends, is Bella Fina as good as she looks?
Okay.
And they were unanimous. No.
Jaywalk, John Service saddling his second Breeders' Cup starter. Jocelyn was his first. He didn't want a runner, as you talked about.
I don't think he did.
Right.
We've talked about it a little bit. I think she was kind of over the top in her great 3-year-old season.
Well, Dick, we're going to get 5 to 1 on Jaywalk. She raced here at Parks back in July, breaking her maiden at 5 furlongs. She was 40 cents on the dollar that day. Then she won a small stake down at Delaware Park. And Dick, then they went to the grade 1 for Zet, and she was terrific.
Yeah, she just crushed the field, won by 5 3/4. Joe Alversario rode. He's obviously back today. And really, that race was really good, but the tip-off for me on this horse was the Delaware race.
Right.
The first 4 finishers came back to win their next race.
Let's take a look at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
They're off in the Juvenile Fillies. Jaywalk broke well, Serengeti Empress 2, Restless Rider between them, and Bella Fina's going to join the fray on the far outside. So these 4 will take them into that turn with Vibrance running in 5th and glued to the rail. Then Baby Nina on the outside, Splashy Kisses, Cassie's Dreamer is racing in between Reflect and Sipacan Harbor at the back of the field as they race to the backstretch, and Jaywalk takes charge. Opens up a length and a half to Serengeti Empress through a 23.26 opening quarter mile. They're moving right along at a solid pace onto the backstretch. Bella Fina's 3rd on the outside, Vibrance running in 4th. Restless Rider now has been taken back to sit 5th, and she's 5 from the front. And then it's reflected between horses. Longshot Baby Nina's down on the inside. Then Splashy Kisses. Cassie's Dreamer second last, and a late runner. Sipacan Harbor trails the field. 46.76 was the half mile. There's a half mile to go, and Jaywalk to catch as they make their way into the far turn. Bella Fina's second on the outside. Restless Rider's moving now. And here she comes on the outside of Vibrance as they make their way around the turn. Serengeti Empress is back running in 5th position. Sipacan Harbor's starting to go past horses at the back of the pack. It is Jaywalk up top as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Bella Fina's come under pressure. Restless Rider is there on the outside. Vibrance cuts the corner, and they're into the stretch, and it's Jaywalk. Jaywalk comes into the final furlong, opening up a 2-length lead. Restless Rider is second. On the inside comes Vibrance in 3rd. Bella Fina is back to 4th, passing the 16th pole. This filly can cross wherever she wants. Jaywalk is a Breeders' Cup champ.
Dick, I know I'm a little bit biased here because John is from the home team, but this was one of the best performances of the entire weekend. She crushed this field. Gate to wire, won by 5.5, paid $13 to win. And Dick, John has now won the Oaks, He's won the Derby. He now has won the Breeders'. When is he going to get the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's interesting. When he comes to Churchill Downs, he just doesn't show up to appear under the Twin Spires. He comes to win. And as you said, that's, as far as I know, 3 straight, the big ones, Smarty and then Catherine Sophia. And now Jaywalk, and if everything goes right, he'll be back in 6 months to try to run in the Oaks. And it was great to see her run that well. We all knew what she had. And when John says, we're good, you're good.
Well, the Let's Go Racing cameras were down at Churchill Downs, and which, surprisingly enough, they were right there in the service box. Can you believe that? Well, let's go behind the scenes with John and his family as they watch this incredible Breeders' Cup victory.
They're off in the Juvenile Fillies. Jaywalk broke well, Serengeti Empress 2, Restless Rider between them, and Bellafina's going to join the fray on the far outside. 46.76 was the half mile. There's a half mile to go, and Jaywalk to catch as they make their way into the far turn. Jaywalk up top as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Bellafina's come under pressure. Restless Rider is there on the outside. Vibrance cuts the corner, and they're into the stretch, and it's Jaywalk. Passing the 16th pole, this filly can cross wherever she wants. Jaywalk is a Breeders' Cup champ.
She really relaxed. She just brake really sharp out of there, and then she just one thing. She just wanted to go. So I just drop her the hang, and then just let her be happy, and then she do the rest of the work.
Congratulations on a great race and a great filly. You're here.
You were very confident in this filly. Why?
Well, she's just done everything right. She's trained. Going into this race, she trained super well. You know, I trained her a little differently to see if she'd handle the 2 turns, and I was very confident with that. I didn't think that would be an issue at all. And she came into the race great.
And when you saw her loose on the lead, what was going through your mind?
Well, at first I thought, here we go again, because in the race before I didn't expect her to be in front. But, you know, when she started pricking her ears and she relaxed and you know, Joel was sitting against her the whole way, and they were running quick. And I remember coming to the halfway point of the race, and Tyler said, give me a 47 and change, you know, and they threw up 46 and 3, and I was like, But, I mean, she's just got such a high cruising speed. She just runs them off their feet.
Look, I've known you long enough. You're not a self-promoter, but we've talked about this. Kentucky Derby, Preakness, Oaks, now a Breeders' Cup. Can you get play for Hall of Fame at some point?
I don't know. You know
and
what?
You're closing on 2,000 wins.
You know what, Dick? I mean, it'd be great. I'd love it.
Right.
But I mean, this business has been so good to me. You know, I've been so fortunate to train for people like the Greens and Mr. Zachney and all the owners. I mean, I have some great owners, and I'm just enjoying the game, man.
And of course, we'll have more behind-the-scenes stuff as we make our way through the show. And Dick, I have to say, I feel bad for Bruce. You know, Bruce is down at these big races, and instead of getting to watch the race, he's watching people through a camera lens and just being professional about what he does.
Well, you know what? He knew what was happening by watching him. He didn't need to see the race. He could see it later. I was actually, Bruce and I were sitting in the box sort of right behind the services and off to their left when the race started. And during the race, I said, where's Bruce? Oh, there he is. He's got his camera trained. But no, another great job by Bruce, who appeared at the track midday Friday and got there just in time for all of you.
Well, time to head to our first break. We come back. Lots more to come. Stay with us. Be right back after this.
It's exciting. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
What does Chapman's 7 locations and 10 car brands mean to you? It means a huge selection of quality pre-owned vehicles, all makes and models, many one-owner low mileage certified with miles of factory warranty remaining. Safety checked, meticulously detailed, and each come with a free Carfax report so you can buy with complete confidence at any Chapman Auto store near you. Or shop online anytime at ChapmanPreowned.com.
If our emblem is not on your car or truck, you probably did pay too much.
Welcome back, everyone, to Parks Racing for Let's Go Racing. And we start our second segment with a special feature from down at Churchill Downs. And, of course, besides you two,
yes,
our president, Sal DeBunda, was down there with board member Steve Appel, representing Pennsylvania Racing.
Yeah, extremely proud, obviously, of the 4 trainers who had horses from Parks to run in the Breeders' Cup. One Friday, we just saw John Service, 3 more on Saturday. And they were hanging out in those new starting gate suites with Bruce, Steve, and Sal, and I wandered up, and we had a chance to chat with Sal.
Well, here's more with our president.
Sal, what's it been like being here at the Breeders' Cup with all these Parks horses?
Well, the Breeders' Cup is generally great, but to have 4 trainers from Parks here, one's already won. We got 2 coming up in the sprint, and of course 1 in the Classic. It's been fabulous, and the excitement for Pennsylvania. Then we top that off with a PA bred, paying up $50 to in the 3rd race. So it's been a great day.
When the Parks horses won all those 3 winning your in races, what went through your mind about where the program was and where it is?
Well, I mean, it was, first of all, I was like flabbergasted because this can't really be happening, and I said. Then I called John right away, and I said, "John, are you going to go?" He says, "I'm not sure. It's back pretty soon." And when I saw Discreet Lover, I said, "This is unbelievable." So, I think it's a great thing for Parks and a great thing for Pennsylvania. I really do, and I'm very proud as the president of the Horsemen to see our horsemen doing so well.
And I know you were good friends with Rick Violet, of course, ran the Horsemen's Group up in New York for years and years. He just passed away. I know you want to say a few words about Rick.
Yeah, Rick was a class act, a gentleman. We will miss him. New York has a lot to be thankful for, and so does the THA, both in the Mid-Atlantic area. We just want to give a shout out, Rick. We wish you were here. We really miss you, and thank you for all the work you've done for us.
Rick trained Diversify. He ran the Horsemen's Group really well up in New York for years, and was a good friend of a lot of people. So, yeah, a big loss in the game for sure.
Well, Dick, let's get to more racing action. And this part of the program brought to you by Chapman Auto Group. Unless our emblem is on the back of your car or truck, you probably paid too much. And Dick, of course, the Classic. We're going to go 1.25 miles for $6 million. A field of 14 went to the gate. And Dick, number 14, Accelerate, is 5-2 for trainer John Sadler. John had some other chances earlier on in the program. But Dick, as he comes into the Breeders' Cup Classic with Accelerate, he is still looking at the big goose egg.
0 for 44 with the favorite in the Classic. Kind of hard to pull the trigger on that one. It's like, what is going on here with John Sadler? But he had the best horse. He had a great campaign. I thought he had a great post, and we'll see.
The only horse that beat him this year was City of Light, who's terrific.
Who won the dirt mile.
So Accelerate's been terrific. Dick's second choice was McKinsey. Were you at all surprised at this? 7-2 was the price.
Right.
Obviously ran big off the layoff. Would he run big again, or would he kind of take a step back?
I wasn't surprised. It's Baffert and Smith. Right. I mean, really, it almost doesn't matter the name of the horse or even the record, although McKinsey obviously has a terrific record. Those two get bet like the race is over, because you know what? A lot of times the race is over when they're in.
You get 5-1 on Catholic Boys, 6-1 on West Coast, 9-1 on Mind Your Biscuits, and Discreet Lover was 53-1 for our man Uriah St. Louis. Here's the call of the Classic.
They're off. In the Breeders' Cup Classic, Lone Sailor was off to a slow beginning, and Mendelssohn is sent out of there by Ryan Moore to grab the lead. McKinsey is close to, and as is Thunder Snows, down on the inside. Then it's West Coast. Accelerate will be 5th in the early stages, and now he's going to come to the inside to save a little bit of ground. And it's Roaring Lion, followed by Pavel. Mind Your Biscuits, 6 lengths off the lead through a flashy opening quarter mile in 22.68 seconds. Very, very fast for this distance. Catholic Boy is back around 7 lengths off the lead at this stage. Then it's Axelrod, followed by Gunnevera. Yoshida, Discreet Lover, and Lone Sailor at the back of the pack, but the pace could help them as Mendelssohn speeds to the backstretch in front. McKinsey 3/4 of a length off of him. Thunder Snow and West Coast are together. They are 3rd and 4th. 46.46 was the half, so the pace has moderated somewhat. 1.5 lengths back to Pavel, who's followed on the outside by Accelerate, the favorite, who's 6th right now. Just poked his head into 5th, and he's 4 lengths off the lead. Roaring Lion is coming under pressure on the inside. Catholic Boy is outside of horses with Mind Your Biscuits, and Axelrod is sent through inside of them. Gunnevera 12 lengths behind at this stage, then Discreet Lover, Yoshida, and the trailer is Lone Sailor 3/4, 110.61. They move into the far turn with Mendelssohn, McKinsey, West Coast, and now Accelerate makes it 4 across the track as they round the far turn. And then it's Thunder Snow running in 5th on the inside. Axelrod is 6th outside of them and under a drive. And then it's Pavel. Yoshida still about 7 lengths behind, but he's unwinding and coming wide. And they're into the stretch. And it's Accelerate. And on the inside, Mendelssohn, Thunder Snow roaring up between those two as they arrive at the 8th pole. Then Yoshida, Axelrod. Ganavera's closing in late. It is Accelerate. He's coming down to the 16th pole in front. Thunder Snow on the inside is next. Then Mendelssohn, Ganavera, and Yoshida on the far outside. They're coming to the wire and Accelerate.
I can't imagine the feelings of trainer John Sadler finally getting it done. Not an easy trip. Accelerate had to run every step, but Dick, he did prove the best. Accelerate wins by a length, paid $7.40 to win. And Ganavera at a big price rallies to post a good exacta for second. And Dick, Accelerate is our classic champion.
Yeah, look, he's going to get play for Horse of the Year now, despite the Triple Crown winner. Well, maybe we'll have that conversation a little later in the show, but I kind of thought it was an underwhelming race. They went the final quarter in over 27 seconds, only 105 buyer. I thought it was more Accelerate, survived, but he had a tremendous season, worthy of Horse of the Year almost any year, other than the year when there's a Triple Crown winner. But I do think now there's going to be a debate, and it's going to be an interesting debate. Discreet Lover in what is almost certainly his final race. Really never got in the race this time, Keith. The pace was good enough for him, I thought, but he finished 8th. He came running a little bit past half the field. But you know what? They've already won.
Absolutely.
What a story. I mean, one of the great stories in the history of this racetrack. And Uriah had told me he's pretty close to a stallion deal. So, again, it looks like it'll probably be his last race. But, man, he's going to leave with a lot of great memories around here.
Well, Dick, Bruce Casella had a chance to catch up with Uriah before the race and talk about just what it was like to be at the Breeders' Cup.
Talk about sharing this with your family, this experience.
This is so wonderful. Words can't describe it. You know, it's a dream come true.
We are so excited to be here, you know, and this horse has brought us all the way here, and it was something that we didn't expect, and we're glad to have this experience at this moment in time.
Are you guys nervous at all?
No, I'm not nervous, no. I'm honestly not nervous because you know why? It's because this horse, he can hold his own out there. We didn't pay much for him, and everything that he does for us is gravy.
My father, he's been grinding along. He's done this for 30 years, and this is his first horse actually running in the Breeders' Cup Classic. His first horse running in the Breeders' Cup altogether, and it's just something that he's worked so hard for. I know how much work he puts in, day out. So I just hope that he can actually do it today, but I'm proud of this horse no matter what, and I'm proud of my father for actually getting him here.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Come on, Discreet. Keep yourself going.
Yoshida, Discreet Lover, and Lone Sailor at the back of the pack, but the pace could help them.
You gotta run, baby boy. You gotta run, baby boy. Run. Go through the rail. Go through the rail. Keep going.
They're coming to the wire, and Accelerate wins the Breeders' Cup Classic for John Sadler.
We tried, right? Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. You tried.
Well, Dick, since that Grade 1 victory in New York, I don't think that smile has left Uriah's face, and all power to him.
Yeah, beyond just the money, the fact that he's got a Grade 1, and now that helped him get this stallion deal. What a great story. Paid $10,000 for the horse. What a story.
Absolutely. Dick, let's get to the turf. We were waiting for the turf big time. Mile and a half on the turf. The course was listed as good throughout the weekend, and Dick, Enable comes to the to Churchill Downs, and Dick, she has only ever lost one race. It's the second race of her life. She's coming off 8 consecutive wins. 6 of those have been Group 1s, and she's earned $8.5 million.
Yeah, she is sensational. She's trying to become the first ARC turf winner in the same season, but it's the first time an ARC winner has come into the turf not at the end of the season. Remember, this is only her 3rd race. The ARC was a hard race. John Gosden, the great trainer, said, boy, it took her almost 2 weeks to recover. But this field was not nearly as good as the ARC field. Not even close. The American horses are totally overmatched, especially on this, they called it good, somewhere between yielding and soft turf course. And she doesn't ever run a bad race. I was probably looking forward to seeing her as much as I was looking forward to seeing any horse all weekend.
Absolutely, me too. Dick Volgeist was the second choice at 5-1, but this race is all about the filly Enable. Here's the call of the turf.
Around the turn they go, and High Happy has taken the lead. Hunting Horn is second, and now Frankie Dettori brings Enable to the outside of them, and here she comes up for the lead as they come to the top of the stretch. Magical's moving with her, and she got an inside run, and they're into the stretch, and the two fillies are 1-2, Magical and Enable, and they kick on from Saddler's Joy. It's Enable on the outside, in the center of the turf course. She has taken the lead, and she's pulling away from Magical, who continues to battle her, though. It's these two, 1-2 down to the finish. Enable and Magical, and they're well clear of the others. Racing Royalty, Enable, and Frankie Dettori.
Well, Dick, she puts in a terrific performance here. Magical, the other filly in the race, they just spread eagled everybody. Look, how much better are they? But Enable wowed the crowd, did she, Dick, and she got it done again. It wasn't the matter of the win price. $3.60 was all you got, but we got to see one of the best racehorses in the world.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, and you got to see two of the best riders in the world battling it out in the stretch. You had Frankie Dettori on Enable and the great Ryan Moore on Magical for Aidan O'Brien. I mean, maybe the two best trainers in the world. Everything was there, and as you said, they just routed the field.
Oh, man.
And again, I don't know that Enable was quite all the way at her best yet, given how short the season was, but some horses just have a name like Magical. All the horses like Enable are just magic. She is awesome.
Dick, why are the fillies able to compete better with the males on the turf course rather than on the dirt?
Well, first of all, because the Europeans try.
Yeah.
The Americans just don't do it.
Right.
But clearly, the best fillies, I would say they're better than the colts in general on turf in Europe, which has the best turf racing in the world. We don't. As you can see, the American horses, you needed a telescope to find them. They were way back.
Dick, let's get to the sprint now. We've also been waiting big time for the sprint. Imperial Hint was in here. Also, Ned Allard with Always Sunshine. We'll get to more of that in just a minute. But Dick, Imperial Hint was disappointed last year in losing. Louis Carvajal has been focusing on this race all year. You get 8-5. What's the best scenario for this setup for him to do well here?
Yeah, as I think we talked about on the show last week, my concern was that Distinctive B from the Peter Miller barn was just two to the outside and has enough speed maybe to lock him in, and that I thought Roy H had the better post, and Roy H on his best day, as he proved last year in the Breeders' Cup, is a really good horse, and it looked like he maybe was cycling back to that form again. I just wish that Imperial Hint had been further to the outside. As it turned out, I'm not sure it was going to make any difference, but that was my wish prior to the race.
Dick, Roy H did draw the outside post. He's 5-2 here, and really, when you look at this, there isn't much not to like about Roy H.
Now, he wasn't running maybe up to his top form until his last race, but in the Breeders' Cup last year, he got a 111. Now, my contention has always been that he caught the better part of the Del Mar track, and Imperial Hint been there, he would have won. But now, we'll never know about that, but we get a rematch here today.
Well, here is the rematch. Here's the sprint from Churchill.
Let's check out this opening quarter mile. 21.35 seconds of fierce first fraction as they race for the turn. And then it's Roy H who's up running in third while moving 3 wide on the turn. Imperial Hint is swung outside of Always Sunshine, 4 lengths to make up. And here comes Roy H. Roy H has circled up to take the lead at the top of the stretch. Right by Promises Fulfilled. Imperial Hint is trying to close on the outside. Then Distinctive B. Whitmore is making progress. Here he comes splitting horses. Roy H has got a big lead though. At the 16th pole, he's 4 in front. Whitmore closes the gap into second as they come to the line. Roy H does it again.
Well, Dick, Roy H was terrific again. He in the clear the whole way. In the middle of the racetrack, draws off to win by 3 1/4, pays $7.40 to win. So we back-to-back Breeders' Cup sprints. Dick, Imperial Hint was never really in the race. He ended up finishing third.
Yeah, he wasn't. Look, Roy H went right back to the 111 he got last year. He was a deserving winner. He'll be the sprint champion again, unfortunately for Imperial Hint. Keith, it's bizarre. Imperial Hint at Churchill Downs has been really bad in 2 races and just not up to par, certainly in this race, even though he finished third. In his other 15 races at all these other racetracks, he's 12 for 15.
Let's get to our next break. We come back here on Let's Go Racing Weekly Awards and more Breeders' Cup action. Be right back after this.
Looking to join the thrill and excitement of thoroughbred racehorse ownership? Pewter Stable can get you started. With more than 25 years of experience under the leadership of Greg and Kate Tomasi, Pewter Stable is one of the industry's leaders in racing partnerships, winning hundreds of races and millions of dollars at racetracks all over the Mid-Atlantic, including New York. No markup, no management fees makes our partnerships unique and affordable. We are Pewter Stable.
Welcome back, everyone, to Parks Racing for Let's Go Racing. The weekly awards brought to you by the good folks at Turning for Home, the Turning for Home program, turningforhome.org. Log on today. Dick Sylvester Gonzalez had a good week. He is our jockey of the week.
And we need to mention that Frankie Pennington, by the way, was down riding Always Sunshine in the Breeders' Cup. And he's always our jockey.
Absolutely. What, I mean, 5 in a row. He's going to get it done again. Our trader of the week.
JC Service, maybe?
Dick, let's get to race recap. We're going to take a look at the distaff, and that featured Monomoy Girl. She goes off at 9 to 5 for trainer Brad Cox. She drew that outside gate just like she did in the Oaks. And Dick, she's going to win it just like she did in the Oaks. How about Monomoy Girl?
Yeah, it's her home track. The only time she's been beaten this year was by a steward's call here at Parks. She's been in first in every race. She's had an incredible year. In a normal year, Monomoy Girl could be in play for Horse of the Year. What a great season she's had, and what a great job Brad Cox has done with her. And unfortunately, Abel Tasman finished last somewhere along the line. She just lost it after that great race in Saratoga.
560 run on Monomoy Girl. Dick, let's take a look at the Filly and Mare Sprint. And the favorite here, number 13, Marley's Freedom, 4 to 5 for Baffert and Smith. But how about one for the Pennsylvania bred? Number 14, Shamrock Rose, is 25 to 1, and here she comes.
And this is an absolutely brilliant ride by Irad Ortiz, who got the Bill Shoemaker Award for Best Rider at the Breeders' Cup, as he brings her from the 14-hole, splits horses, comes running into stretch for Mark Cassie. And the PA bred was bred at Best of Luck Farm here in Pennsylvania. And congratulations to all those people. Shamrock Rose gets it done.
$53.80 to win for Shamrock Rose. Dick, news and notes. We have a special feature coming up, a Godolphin Award.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with that after this.
The Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association is the advocate for Parks Racing's horsemen and has worked hard to secure better lives for the hundreds of trainers and their families that work in the thoroughbred racing industry. Our horsemen benefit from medical coverage, trainer pension plans, and increased purses. Thanks to these horsemen, racing at Parks is the very best, providing entertainment for you and the entire family. The Pennsylvania Horsemen are proud to be part of the community and introduce a new generation of fans to the sport of kings.
Welcome back, everyone, to Parks Racing for Let's Go Racing. News and notes. Our final segment brought to you by Pewter Stable. Log on to their website at pewterstable.com. Become an owner today. Our man Bruce Casella, Dick Girardi, Keith Jones, and Dick, the Godolphin Awards. They're industry awards. They feature one called the Newcomer Award. And Devin Doherty was presented with the Newcomer Award. Tell us about Devin.
It's a great award. I mean, there's a lot of people that were up for it. It's a hard award to win. And Devin has been around the racetrack for a little while, but her mom, who everybody around here knows, Linda Doherty, has been around for quite a while. A writer for a number of publications, including up at Trenton. She's written for the Blood Horse, and it's really neat for the family, and I know Linda must really be proud of her daughter.
You better believe that. Let's get more on Devin Doherty winning the prestigious Godolphin Award.
My name is Devin Doherty, and I work for Roy Houghton. My mom's a turf rider, and she works for the Blood Horse, so I was always interested in it. And then as soon as I turned 16, I got my license at the track and started hot walking and running horses for Roy.
She come around looking for a job and started out walking hots and graduated to being a groom. She's pretty damn sharp and she works awful hard. She's a really good kid. Goes to college 5 days a week, works here, makes straight A's. Pretty impressive.
Working full-time and going to school full-time is definitely challenging, but I definitely have to have good time management skills to do everything. But I usually plan my classes for the afternoon, and then so I work all morning, then go to my classes, and then come back and feed. But it's manageable. I love the horses the most because, you know, you get up every day and you enjoy their company, and you know, they're like family.
Well, our congratulations to Devin, and can't take it away. Once they give it to you, that's it. But Dick, we'll get to that discussion about
Horse of the Year. We'll have enough time between now and when the votes are cast in December.
And remind the people to always log on to letsgoracingparks.com.
Right. I got a story this week on the whole Breeders' Cup scene. It's mostly around Jaywalk, but talk about the other Parks horses as well.
Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Let's Go Racing.